Sony has just literally changed the game forever. With the announcement of the A9III, we now have global shutter in mirrorless cameras. Global shutter. You know what, Sony? I have kids, all right? They need clothes. They can wear the clothes from last year because this is very enticing. Let's talk about it. So Sony was smart enough not to invite me to their press event because I am a difficult person to be around, but I will probably get my hands on the camera in a couple of days at the Profusion Expo here in Toronto, but I will give you my thoughts on the camera thus far, and I will say my thoughts are I am blown away. Certainly, for someone like me, this is a crazy thing to have in a camera. You see, global shutter, in case you don't know, it takes the image instantaneously. It is just right there, and it is captured all at once, whereas normal sensors, they read from top to bottom. So it's a rolling shutter, so it just reads from top to bottom, and you can make it as fast as you can, but you're still going to have issues with sometimes with flickering lights, with banding, and also you can get curvature in straight lines when objects are moving fast. Like a golf club could be curved, or if NASCAR, things are going by fast, they can be slanted. And now with global shutter, that is entirely eliminated. Everything is taken all at once instantly, so you will have no distortion at all. You will also have no flickering on it. This is not an A9III, this is an A7IV, but you will have just no distortion, no flickering lights, anything like that. And the global shutter, it can do so much. You can shoot 120 frames per second in burst mode on the A9III because mechanical, electronic, it doesn't matter anymore. So you can do 120 frames per second. It has a normal 20 frames per second rate, and then you can hit the burst rate and go into 120 frames per second. And then it plays you a little movie. So you don't have to go through each individual file. You can just find the spot you like, stop it, star your photo, and then just put it out, 14-bit raw photos from 120 frames per second. And there's no blackouts on the viewfinder. The viewfinder, 9.44 million dot viewfinder. So the best viewfinder that Sony offers, and with no blackouts at all, shooting like 120 frames per second. It also has a pre-burst. So when you just put your finger on the shutter and you're focused on, say, a bird in a tree, and then he jumps off and you missed it, well, it can up to a second before you actually press the shutter down all the way. It can capture it, so you will never miss your bird photo on a boat, your boat photo. And also it has the AI chip, so the tracking is absolutely bonkers, and it gets that from the A7R5, that AI chip. Also from the A7R5 is the tilting screen, the multi-axis tilting screen, so you can flip it out 180 degrees and flip it all the way around, or you can just pull it out from the body like a lot of photographers like to do to keep it in line. It has 8 stops of IBIS, so just in the body alone, 8 stops of stabilization. I'd like to test that out in person, but that is absolutely fantastic. Global shutter with 8 stops of IBIS, and the video features are bonkers. I did not expect this coming out of the A9III, but the video features, you can do 4K 120 frames per second with no crop. Because of the global shutter, you got no crop in the 4K 120. Now, and it also has 4K 60 downsampled from 6K, which makes me think the 4K 120 is not downsampled, because otherwise they would have said that. And of course, you have 10-bit 422. It can also output 16-bit RAW for the video. That's crazy great video features. So if you're a videographer who has had a lot of trouble with rolling shutter, this camera is probably a no-brainer for you. Of course, it has weather sealing, but it also has that dynamic active stabilization, which I love on the ZV-E1. Dynamic active stabilization is so great. You get gimbal-like footage without a gimbal. To have that on the A9, another fantastic video feature put in right there. Flash, if you like to shoot flash photography, you can have flash at any sync speed. It is just, because of the global shutter, flash at any speed. Another no-brainer for people who like to use flash photography. Now, this is very exciting. It doesn't, completely make all of the other Sony cameras obsolete. Number one, there's the price. Number two, if you want a higher resolution camera like an A7CR or an A7R 5, then of course you'll go for one of those. You want to go in APS-C crop mode, still have 26 megapixels, or you just need a lot of resolution. Those cameras are for you. FX3, FX6, the Cine line still has some Cine functions that you may want. And of course, then there's value cameras like the A9III that have great value at a lower cost than the A9III. But boy, this is going to be tempting for a ton of people. Wildlife photographers, sports photographers, lots of different videographers. This is a really compelling camera, and it comes in at about $6,000 USD, which I would expect at least that much for what this camera is offering. And I tell you, I don't know. I have enough cameras for what I do, and I'm very happy with them. But boy, oh boy, it's tempting. But yeah, you talk about excited, and I mean just in general, because if they're in the Sony cameras, the global shutter, it's going to go to the other camera companies as well. That's going to make it better for everybody. Eventually, it will trickle down to lower priced cameras, and then a lot of the problems that we see as budget videographers are going to go away. It's just, this is a great time. I'm very happy about this announcement, even though I wasn't invited to the trip. So let me know down below what you guys think of this particular offering. And don't forget too, they also introduced a 300mm G Master lens, which is so small and light for a 300mm lens. That's a great lens. And they've introduced, well, not introduced, but they've announced that they're going to have some updates on some of their other cameras, like the A7S III. So good news all around. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching this. Hopefully I'll get my hands on the camera soon. We'll talk to you again. Okay, bye-bye.